Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, March 4th. Currently, still quite a bit of prescribed burning occurring, especially in Utah, but also a few prescribed fires back west in Nevada and up north in Idaho. Over the last 7 to 14 days, storm systems continue to target the northern half of the Great Basin, and over the last 7 days, quite a bit of precipitation, especially across the far north and in northern California. And over the last 14 days, this precipitation in northern Nevada, northern Utah, and southern Idaho in some areas has been well above normal for the time of year. Continued dry spots are the southern half of the Great Basin, where any precipitation we've seen has been well below normal. Over the last 72 hours, we have seen some new snowfall a couple of days ago over the northern half of the Great Basin. Some areas in the higher terrain of northern Nevada and northern Utah saw over 6 to 8 inches, and in some areas over a foot of snow in the highest elevations. Otherwise, our snow depth is indicated here on the right and mainly in the higher elevations, with really a little to no snowfall in the lower elevations. Currently, our snowpack remains well below normal across most areas. Still, some areas of the Central Sierra and still western Wyoming are near normal, but many other areas below normal, not quite as far below normal up north in Idaho as we're seeing further south in the Great Basin, where we're seeing areas below 20 to 40% of normal. So again, continuing to deal with these low snowpack conditions, and any storm systems we have coming in that do bring some new snowfall likely won't change these totals in many areas. Currently looking at our ERC conditions with the prescribed burning occurring, we do have some ERC conditions that are near maximums for the time of year in Utah, so definitely something to keep in mind, even though these values are well outside of critical, definitely drier than what we would normally see this time of year. But you can see from the green forecast line, we will see these ERCs decline with the next storm system coming through the next few days, and then potentially even more cold weather and storm systems next week for parts of the eastern half of the Great Basin. So looking at our weather pattern for today, we do have an area of low pressure moving through the Pacific Northwest. This will push clouds, showers, and decreasing temperatures through the Great Basin. So for today, we will see those showers move into Idaho and parts of northern Nevada before moving further east. You can see from the ventilation index, this will also bring stronger winds to the area in some areas, so we will see good dispersion, generally region-wide. Looking at some of the details, our gusty winds today will be located over the northern half of the Great Basin, but will be pushing south as well. So there are plenty of wind advisories with some gusts above 40 or 50 miles per hour across many areas of the Great Basin. And then we will see mixing heights on the higher end as this storm system moves through. Temperatures today will still remain above normal over really all of the Great Basin. Not quite as far above normal in the north, and those temperatures will be decreasing today, but we will see temperatures 5 to 10 degrees above normal across Nevada and Utah. Relative humidity will be into the teens over the southern half of the Great Basin, so something to keep in mind with these warm temperatures, drier conditions as the winds move through with any prescribed burning we have occurring, just something to watch over the next couple of days before we see those colder temperatures and the moisture. As we move into Thursday, this storm system will track into central areas of the Great Basin and continue moving eastward. So we will see colder temperatures. We will continue to see that high dispersion region-wide as these winds remain elevated, and we will see some of these drier conditions. So for Thursday, the strongest winds will be over central and southern areas of the Great Basin with more of a northerly to northwest flow. So we will see those wind gusts, again, above 40 to 50 miles per hour with very high mixing heights in the south. So this is our hot, dry, windy index, so something to look at with the gusty winds and dry conditions, the combination. So for today, you are seeing the winds above the 75th and even above the 90th percentile in some areas in Nevada and Utah with some of those decreasing relative humidity, so something to watch today. As we move into tomorrow, we will see the strongest winds more to the south, but again, still remaining in the 75th percentile. So looking at our temperatures and relative humidity for Thursday, as that cold front moves in, we will see those temperatures that are 5 to 10 degrees above normal today drop to 5 to 10 degrees below normal by tomorrow, along with decreasing snow levels. So we will see that precipitation moving in with some winter weather advisories and winter storm watches in effect going into the tonight period into Thursday for Utah, and those likely will be upgraded. Relative humidity starts to improve with the exception of the far south on Thursday. So we move into Friday, the storm system moves off to the east. We will see ridging off the west coast with still that northerly flow keeping temperatures colder in the Great Basin and still good wind flow for good dispersion. On Friday, you can see generally breezy to gusty winds across the region, but not quite as strong as what we'll see over the next couple of days. And then mixing heights start to drop, but remain more in that moderate range across much of the Great Basin and a little bit higher in the south and east. Temperatures still remain colder, so still 5 to 10 degrees below normal. Some warm up starting on the western side of the Great Basin by Friday. Otherwise, relative humidity remains higher with the exception of the far south. 3-day forecast precipitation, you can see here, the drier spots remain over the southern or areas of the Great Basin and even to some extent western Nevada, but we will see a good precipitation totals in the mountains of Idaho and then down into Wyoming and northern Utah where we could see over a ½ inch of precipitation and a little bit higher up in central Idaho. Looking at how this translates to snowfall with the decreasing snow levels and colder temperatures moving in, we will see definitely snow in the mid and higher elevations and even some low elevations scattered about with some of the showers as well. Some of these areas in Idaho, Wyoming could see over 12 inches of new snowfall and even down into northern Utah, those same scenarios with not quite as high snow totals in the foothills, but still we'll see some new snowfall. As we go into the weekend, we will see ridging start to nose into the Great Basin with low pressure down in the southwest. Overall drier conditions by Saturday, but could see some cloud cover up into Idaho with good dispersion for our burning projects in Nevada and Utah. Similar pattern continues into Sunday and Monday, and then we could see our next storm system impact the region by Tuesday. So we'll see how that plays out as we go into early next week. 7-day total forecast for precipitation, not much different than the 3-day with, again, much of the precipitation falling through Friday and then drier conditions the weekend into early next week. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from March 11th through the 17th, shows continued warmer temperatures. Despite the cool down as we see systems move through the region, temperatures quickly warm back up. So overall above normal temperatures and overall drier conditions, although we will have some storm systems dropping down from the north, which could clip the eastern and northern side of the Great Basin. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Friday for the latest updates.